I'm pretty sure that you could put a ventriloquist dummy as the villain in any movie and it would just work out perfectly fine. They're always very creepy characters. Hello once again, watchers of Good Movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my apartment. Now today, we're going to be talking about the film Goosebumps. This is based off of the best-selling book series by R.L. Stine, which I read a lot of in middle school and probably high school as well, maybe a little elementary school. I read a lot of these books. I don't remember a lot of them, but I know that I read just a ton of them. And so when I saw that they were being made into a movie, I was very skeptical. I thought this was going to be cheesy as all hell, not very good. I thought it was going to be just very basic system, kind of some cheap laughs, not that good of a movie. I keep being wrong about these things. The film stars Jack Black as R.L. Stine, and he does a very nice job as the character. I haven't seen Jack Black in a lot of roles recently, so if this is his return to the big screen, he does a very nice debut in this film. He's very funny, but he's also got this kind of serious humor that he does. There's one quip that he does about Stephen King, which is just hilarious and had me laughing for a good 30 seconds just to myself. And that brings me to my first point about the movie. This film is surprisingly very funny. I found myself just laughing and chuckling just at various parts throughout this movie because it's just so damn funny at times. That just catches you off guard, and just things in this film just work really, really well. It's also a good laugh for some kids. There were parts of the film, one part in particular that I remember, where just all of the younger kids in the audience were just like laughing. So the film is very funny as a result of that. It's also very well paced, and that is something which helps the film work as well as it does. It's paced very well. We get moving from the boring opening sequence, which doesn't have the best dialogue in the world. A lot of it's kind of awkward, and it's just very stereotypical for kind of how you start off this film, and I didn't really care that much about the first 10-15 minutes. But once we have the monsters being unleashed, once we have our villain, once we have our plot begin, it gets very, very exciting, and it works really, really well. Dylan Minnette, I don't know if I'm saying that right, he is kind of our hero of this film, per se. Him and his friend, Ryan Lee, they investigate R.L. Stine's house. They come across his daughter, Odia Rush. They open some books, and apparently the books are gateways to the actual monsters which inhabit them, so they are unleashed upon the town of Madison, Delaware, and we have our movie. Slappy as the villain of this film just works so well because they use him as a reflection of R.L. Stine himself, because the idea is that R.L. Stine put so much of himself into these characters, and especially into Slappy, that they are kind of the same person. They think similarly to each other. Obviously one is more good than bad and vice versa, but they work really well when they have just their dialogues with each other, because Jack Black, he voiced both Slappy and then obviously his own character, and it's kind of a cool parallel when you see the two just kind of going at it. Slappy as a villain works very well because he's not like violent or anything like that. He has people who do violent acts for him, but he himself is much more the maniacal villain. He's just kind of in the background, kind of causing this whole thing to happen. He's got just this army of monsters just at his beck and call, willing to do what he wants them to do. And so as a villain, he's very kind of scary in that regard, in that he doesn't get taken down very easily, and he's got this huge power behind him. The plot also worked really nicely for this film. This is where I thought I was going to suffer. I thought it was going to be like, oh, Monster A, let's take him out, put him back in the book. Monster B, rinse and repeat. Do the same thing for like 5 creatures, then eventually get Slappy. No, we have every monster basically unleashed upon this town. People are actually affected by the town being destroyed. We see people running for their lives and stuff. Nobody dies, obviously, it's a PG movie, but you do see a lot of destruction happen throughout this town, and it gives it kind of that realistic take if this was to actually happen in real life. And so because of that, the plot actually worked really nicely, because we weren't just going from point A to B to C to D. It just kind of felt like a very straight shot, and kind of going back to the well-paced part, it works really well in that regard as well. Some of the CGI for the monsters was obviously a little more cartoony than I would have liked to see, but that's just kind of how this is going to go with a PG movie, which can't have all the monsters looking menacing, and I think there were some actual people in like costumes and whatnot, but for the large majority it was a lot of CGI just going on throughout this film. There's a nice twist about midway through the film as well regarding one of the characters, and I did enjoy seeing that as well, because I think that is also based off a Goosebumps book, which I remember enjoying quite a lot. But yeah, generally all the actors did a very nice job in their roles. There's a lot more comedy in this film than I was really expecting to, and I just found myself very much enjoying this film the whole way through. I didn't look at my watch once, which is something I can't say about Bridge of Spies or Crimson Peak that I saw this weekend, which are arguably better made films, but this one was honestly more entertaining just in the long run. It kept me engaged the whole time, and I found myself having a really fun time with this film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It was the #1 film this weekend in the box office, so odds are you've seen this by now. But if you're just waiting for my review, like good people that you are, yeah, definitely check this out. It's well worth your time. But those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments down below. Did you like the film as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.